We've had a very cloudy and at times rainy and breezy day today across the Cape Fear. That's the case right now, as you can see from our West Shore Home Sky View camera network down in Charlotte Point. A very brisk north wind at 26 miles per hour, holding our temperatures down all day long, seeing just lower 60s in most spots. And that is thanks to now Tropical Storm Ophelia getting its act together over the past day or so off the coast. It's making its way towards the north, continuing to throw breezy conditions and rain back towards the Cape Fear. We'll talk about exactly where it's going next and your weekend forecast coming up. But your news at 7 begins right now.
You're watching WWAY News at 7.
Now on WWAY News at 7, preparing for Tropical Storm Ophelia in the Cape Fear. And lessons learned from Hurricane Ian. I look back at the devastating storm 1 year ago, which made landfall twice. Good evening and TGIF. Thanks for joining us for your news at 7. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Ahead of Ophelia's arrival, Governor Roy Cooper signed a state of emergency which will help provide for swift response and recovery after the storm passes through the state tomorrow. WWAY's Emily Andrews went to Pender County today to see how officials there are preparing for any possible impacts from tonight's heavy rain and strong gusty winds.
All emergency operations across the county are up and running on normal operations, but all our staff as well as our equipment have been mobilized and ready to deploy to assist our county or a neighboring county or another part of the state if needed.
Tropical Storm Ophelia officially formed off the North Carolina coast on Friday afternoon. While the Cape Fear won't receive the brunt of the storm, we'll continue to see impacts such as heavy rain and winds throughout the day, giving folks a reminder of Idalia that hit our area just 3 weeks ago. Pender County officials are warning its residents to stay dry and stay safe.
Asking everyone to just monitor the local news outlets, the weather service. This is not a large storm, but take it serious. There's still a chance for some localized flooding.
Pender County Emergency Management Director Tommy Batson says at this point, all he and his team can do is continue to monitor the storm and be ready to go at all times. He is expecting the county to see a couple of inches in rainfall, which may lead to some minor flooded streets and homes without power. Batson urges all to have a plan in place for you, your family, and your pets.
That was Emily Andrews reporting. Officials are also warning Pender County residents to stay informed on how the tropical storm is moving with a mobile device or weather radio. And let's take a look at power outages across the area. Earlier this evening, Duke Energy was reporting about 900 outages near Wrightsville Beach. Right now, there are about 473 in the Wilmington area here. We'll zoom in a little bit tighter for you on that. And so far, no widespread outages statewide at this point. We'll continue to keep monitoring the power outages throughout the evening. Due to worsening weather conditions, ferry operations in the Cape Fear have been suspended. The Southport-Fort Fisher ferry suspended operations around 11 o'clock this morning. The Bald Head Island ferry suspended service after 1 o'clock this afternoon to the island and 1:30 from the island. The North Carolina ferry system says the state-operated routes will return to service as soon as it is safe to do so. A year ago, Hurricane Ian made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane before making a second landfall near the Cape Fear a week later. As WWAY meteorologist Marion Caldwell reports, officials say the beaches in our area should be in good shape to weather Ophelia or any other tropical storm we could see this hurricane season.
Following a powerful landfall in southwest Florida 1 year ago on Saturday, Hurricane Ian re-strengthened in the Atlantic, making one final landfall in Georgetown, South Carolina as a Category 1 storm a week later, bringing impacts to the Cape Fear.
The ocean side of the walkways, some of those were damaged, just the tip of them, nothing major, but we did have some issues there.
Places closer to the point of landfall, like Sunset Beach, experienced structural damage as well as minor beach erosion. Sunset Beach Fire Chief Richard Childers is crediting dunes for minimal impacts and quick repairs.
As they've helped in the past and past storms, previous storms, they did their jobs. They did it well. All the walkways were able to be quickly repaired, so very limited time the individual walkways were down. And then our dunes have also grown back to be in a healthy state again.
Beaches like Carolina, Curie, and Ocean Isle also experienced minimal damage from Ian, thanks to beach renourishment efforts from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers back in 2018. As we progress into the peak months of hurricane season, the Corps of Engineers are continuing their efforts to ensure area beaches can weather any storm that could still come this season.
We proactively place material on the beach on those nourishment cycles to protect infrastructure in storm events. So basically we're building up the beaches knowing the storms will be coming and having that protection in place to protect infrastructure.
The Corps of Engineers recently received a grant that will allow for the renourishment of Wrightsville Beach to begin in November. This project will reduce the risk to infrastructure by providing a level of protection against hurricanes and coastal storms for hurricane seasons to come.
Being in hurricane season still, we feel at the Wilmington District we're postured very well to be prepared for any kind of storm events. Carolina Beach, Curry Beach, Ocean Isle Beach, 3 of the 4 projects were renourished just in our last fiscal year. So those projects are in really good shape.
On the Cape Fear coast, Marian Caldwell, WWAY News.
Hurricane Ian was the 4th strongest storm to make landfall in Florida. It reached the Cape Fear still near hurricane strength after making its 2nd landfall near Georgetown, South Carolina. Coming up on your News at 7, some adults in North Carolina will soon get Medicaid coverage, but Governor Roy Cooper calls the state budget a power grab and shortchanges public education. And we're hearing the dramatic 911 call after an F-35 crashed in South Carolina. Hear how the plane's pilot explained what happened.
The watch in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Andy BESHEAR is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. BESHEAR sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy BESHEAR caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
All day long, starting around lunchtime and picking up in intensity as far as the wind gusts and the rain is concerned. Over the afternoon hours, seeing so far as of 5 o'clock, 0.45 inches of rain and counting, still seeing a lot of rain out there. The peak wind speed so far has been from the north at 28 miles per hour. The peak wind gust so far in Wilmington from Ophelia has been 46 miles per hour, so very windy out there. And that's held our temperatures down all day long. The highest we got today was 67 degrees right now. sitting in those lower 60s in most spots. So a good idea for tonight to stay home if you can. Not a great evening to be on the roadways. Here's Ophelia right now, just off the coast, around 50 to 100 miles off the coast of the Cape Fear, throwing rain bands back towards us. So a very soggy rest of the evening and overnight is on the way. Nearly a 100% chance of rain to start the day on your Saturday. But the good news is drying as Saturday continues on. We'll talk about your full Saturday forecast and your Sunday as well, Jeff, coming up.
Thank you, Matthew. Covering the Carolinas, Governor Roy Cooper says he'll let the long-delayed state budget pass without his signature. The decision will help jumpstart Medicaid expansion. The General Assembly officially passed the budget this morning, sending it to Cooper. In a statement, the governor says the budget shortchanges schools and prioritizes power grabs. That's in reference to provisions that strengthen powers of the legislature and state courts at the expense of the executive branch. North Carolina is one of only a handful of states where the governor does not have line item veto power, which means Cooper has to accept or reject the bill as is. So Cooper decided to let the budget become law, but says, quote, many of the budget's provisions will face legal action. The North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence says so far this year there have been 53 domestic violence-related homicides across the state. As Janice Price reports, $500,000 from the governor's crime commission is going to help survivors and to educate the public.
Melody Gross has become a motivational speaker.
I'm a disruptor of domestic violence,
helping women find their voice.
I remember distinctly saying, that could never happen to me. It did. It absolutely did.
When she found herself in an emotional and physically abusive relationship.
And I found myself on crutches because when I tried to leave out the door, he picked me up and threw me to the ground. And so I sprained my ankle. And that was really devastating to me.
It took her 3 years to leave her abuser.
I don't need to be with someone who's going to harm me or make me feel like I'm unsafe.
Everyone doesn't escape unharmed or even alive. Already this year, Legal Aid North Carolina reports 53 domestic violence-related homicides. Last year, the total was 47 lives lost. Christiana Johnson is the staff attorney for Legal Aid North Carolina.
It is concerning to me that we're not even on October yet.
The group assisted 7,000 people last year. The help coming on a spectrum from advice to legal representation to safety.
Just seeing how domestic violence has really silenced them, how it's made them have to quit their job or get fired.
The pain of abuse was unbearable, but I found strength in seeking help.
A PSA is out now, and a new documentary is set to be released in October during Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
But we need to highlight it so that people can realize this is an issue in my community. This affects me because it affects my community. It's not just the victim.
The film outlines the journey survivors like Melody are taking to reclaim their lives.
I don't mind speaking up, and I don't mind sharing that this is traumatic.
That was Janice Price reporting. You can also take action in your community and help break the silence by taking a pledge to speak out against domestic violence. The pledge is also part of Legal Aid's new campaign. Coming up, a $100 million military disaster several days following an F-35 crash in South Carolina. We're hearing from the pilot who ejected. Plus, the federal government preparing for a potential shutdown if a deal can't be reached.
Watch in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Aim higher with DAP Spray Texture 2-in-1 Wall and Ceiling, bringing professional results with ultimate performance in function, formula, and finish. With the AimTech adjustable nozzle, it can tackle repairs at almost any angle on walls, ceilings, and hard-to-reach areas. And the consistent pressure and wide spray provides even application and faster finish, delivering professional-looking results with excellent texture match and seamless repairs. This easy cleanup water-based formula dries in minutes with no priming needed, just paint. Aim higher with DAP Spray Texture in orange peel, knockdown, and popcorn. This is texture reinvented. from DAP.
Watching the chances over the past several days for the potential of tropical development of this system off the coast, and that's exactly what happened today. Seeing Tropical Storm Ophelia as of 2 o'clock, but as of 5 o'clock, winds all the way up now to 70 miles per hour. The good news is, though, it's going to race its way off towards the north and the northeast over the next several hours or so. By 2 a.m. on Saturday, nearing landfall right along the Emerald Isle and Atlantic Beach area of Carteret County, then off towards the north and the northeast. No direct impacts are expected here in the Cape Fear, but still a tropical storm warning in effect for all counties from Pender County and New Hanover County off towards the north and the northeast, and even some hurricane watches in portions of the Onslow County area and Carteret County, that portion of the state. So as that system makes its way towards that direction, some strengthening still is possible. Just now 4 or 5 miles per hour from a Category 1 hurricane, and already seeing some intensification over the past few hours or so. A lot of lightning has developed on the extreme southwestern portion of the circulation here with Ophelia, a very big storm at that. Winds and rain as far west as Raleigh and nearing the middle portions of the state. Even Virginia seeing some rain right now. So as the storm makes its way off towards the north and the northwest, we're going to keep seeing rain bands and gusty conditions over the next several hours. Seeing one very heavy band right now racing its way through the western portions of Bladen County and Columbus County, and another heavy band right now across central sections of Brunswick County, and that's going to be the case all evening long. A very good chance of seeing rain over the next several hours throughout the early morning hours of the day on your Saturday, as is the case with very gusty winds out there right now, seeing wind gusts as high as 40 to 45 miles per hour as you work your way down towards the coast, even stronger offshore, and that strong northerly flow all day long has really kept us very cool today. Lots of rain, clouds, and that wind flow today, seeing highs just in the upper 60s and now just in those cooler lower 60s in most spots. So a good idea to stay home throughout the rest of the evening and overnight hours. Lows tonight just lower 60s back into Bladen and Columbus counties. Winds staying pretty gusty, gusting as high as 40 plus miles per hour until eventually Ophelia makes its way out of our hair and off towards the north and the northwest. So here's as we head overnight into the first part of the day on your Saturday. By 7 a.m. Ophelia should have made landfall somewhere off to our north and the northeast, so conditions should improve as Saturday continues on. So kind of gusty all day long, but the good news is some sunshine is possible Saturday afternoon into the early evening hours of the day on your Saturday. Rain chances also going down as the day continues on, and 80% chance of rain to start off the day, going down to just a 20% shot by the afternoon. A little warmer tomorrow than it was today. Highs once again lower to middle 70s for the first full day of fall. But as you can see in your latest WWAY Storm Track 370 forecast, it gets a lot warmer as we head towards Sunday and Monday, really drying out and turning very nice, Jeff, as we approach the first part of next week. Middle 80s once again, but overall no intense heat anytime soon once we start to dry out as Ophelia races off towards the north.
And probably a good reminder, if you don't have to be on the roads tonight or early in the morning, try to avoid that.
Yeah, because it's very windy out there. It's going to blow your car around. Ponding also is possible on those roadways.
Do be careful. Thank you, Matthew. A 911 recording is giving us a look inside an F-35 fighter jet crash and disappearance near Charleston, South Carolina earlier this week. It starts with a man saying the pilot ejected and landed in his backyard. He asked the dispatcher to send an ambulance. Then the 47-year-old pilot gets on the phone.
We had a military jet crash. I'm the pilot. We need to get rescue rolling. I'm not sure where the airplane is. It would have crash landed somewhere. I ejected.
How far did he fall?
I was at 2,000 feet.
What caused the fall?
An aircraft failure.
He tells the dispatcher his back hurts, and the homeowner notes the pilot has some scratches. The $100 million jet was flying at an altitude of 1,000 feet when the pilot ejected, according to a Marine official. The crash follows at least 2 others since August 24th that left at least 4 people dead. The string of instances is why the Marines temporarily paused flight operations earlier this week. New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez and his wife are facing federal corruption charges for allegedly accepting bribes. Ahead on your News at 7, more details on the sweeping indictment.
And watching Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Andy BESHEAR is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. BESHEAR sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy BESHEAR caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
Menendez are facing charges in connection with their corrupt relationship with 3 New Jersey businessmen. Prosecutors have specifically been investigating whether the pair allegedly received improper gifts, including gold bars, $480,000 in cash, and a luxury vehicle. He's denied any wrongdoing. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer released a statement saying Menendez would temporarily step down from his post as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The White House is preparing to direct federal agencies to get ready for a shutdown after House Republicans left town for the weekend with no viable plan to keep the government funded. Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the House will return next week to start voting on the latest plan. He has just 5 days until the September 30th deadline. A hard right flank of Republicans has essentially seized control and is demanding spending cuts. McCarthy was unable to persuade his rebellious flank to approve a temporary funding measures to prevent closures. Instead, House Republicans will try Tuesday to pass some of the individual spending bills in a typically lengthy process. Coming up, a legacy of serving others. We'll tell you how a man who has been a fixture at a local high school for 3 decades is getting honored for his years of dedication. Plus, we check in with 2 UNCW players hosting a basketball clinic for kids this weekend.
teachers. You may love Cammy's question tool, which creates quizzes that grade themselves. I love it because it's cool.
And watching Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Andy Bashir is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. Bashir sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy Bashir caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
Aim higher with DAP Spray Textured 2-in-1 Wall and Ceiling, bringing professional results with ultimate performance in function, formula, and finish. With the AimTech adjustable nozzle, it can tackle repairs at almost any angle on walls, ceilings, and hard-to-reach areas. And the consistent pressure and wide spray provides even application and faster finish, delivering professional-looking results with excellent texture match and seamless repairs. This easy cleanup water-based formula dries in minutes with no priming needed, just paint. Aim higher with DAP Spray Texture in orange peel, knockdown, and popcorn. This is texture reinvented. From DAP.
Ever wonder if seeing your glucose numbers is really making your life easier? At Medtronic, we think your CGM should do more. Knowing your numbers is great, but what if those numbers could help tell you how much insulin you need? Or better yet, power a system that delivers the insulin for you and adjusts in real time based on your needs. Our CGM powers systems that do more of the work for you. We believe it should work hard, so you don't have to. It's time you ask more of your diabetes technology.
Here, that's the case right now, as you can see from our West Shore Home Sky View camera network down in Charlotte Point, a very brisk north wind at 26 miles per hour, holding our temperatures down all day long, seeing just lower 60s in most spots. And that is thanks to now Tropical Storm Ophelia getting its act together over the past day or so off the coast. It's making its way towards the north, continuing to throw breezy conditions and rain back towards the Cape Fear. We'll talk about exactly where it's going next and your weekend forecast coming up. But your News at 7 begins right now.
You're watching WWAY News at 7.
Now on WWAY News at 7, preparing for Tropical Storm Ophelia in the Cape Fear. And lessons learned from Hurricane Ian. I look back at the devastating storm 1 year ago, which made landfall twice. Good evening and TGIF. Thanks for joining us for your News at 7. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Ahead of Ophelia's arrival, Governor Roy Cooper signed a state of emergency which will help provide for swift response and recovery after the storm passes through the state tomorrow. WWAY's Emily Andrews went to Pender County today to see how officials there are preparing for any possible impacts from tonight's heavy rain and strong gusty winds.
All emergency operations across the county are up and running on normal operations, but all our staff as well as our equipment have been mobilized and ready to deploy to assist our county or a neighboring county or another part of the state if needed.
Now, here's meteorologist Matthew Huddleston with your Storm Track 3 forecast, brought to you by Atlantic Roofing Company.
Well, I certainly hope you had a great day today. A very breezy, cloudy, and at times rainy day across the Cape Fear, all thanks to now Tropical Storm Ophelia. Off the coast of the Cape Fear, it's making its way off towards the north and northwest, making landfall eventually somewhere along the bend right here in North Carolina towards Carteret County as we head towards the very early morning hours of the day on your Saturday, throwing a lot of rain back across the Cape Fear, and that's going to continue all night long through the first part of the day tomorrow. We'll talk about your full Saturday forecast and Sunday as well coming up. But your News at 7:30 begins right now.
You're watching WWAY News at 7:30.
Tonight, the state legislature passes a bill to strip the North Carolina High School Athletic Association of most of its authority. Plus, we introduce you to the man who has been behind the concession stand in Whiteville for 30 years and how the school honored him with a big surprise last night. And going forward with Art in the Yard this weekend in Carolina Beach. Hello, and thanks for joining us on your Friday night. I'm Hannah Patrick. We begin with some sports news. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association claims they were blindsided last night. After midnight, the House of Representatives passed a bill that will strip the NCHSAA of most of its power. The Senate gave its approval this morning. Under the proposed legislation, all student participation rules would be set by the North Carolina Board of Education, and all grants and scholarships would be prohibited. It could be a law as soon as the 2024 academic year. The NCHSAA Commissioner, Q. Tucker, released this statement saying this was, quote, a dark day for high school sports and a blindside tackle from the legislators, end quote. This bill passed mostly along party lines in the House and was unanimously approved in the Senate. It now goes to Governor Roy Cooper. A Whiteville high school volunteer employee received what he called a bittersweet honor during the Wolfpack football game last night. For 3 decades, Robert Crumpler has been the Wolfpack's band treasurer and concession stand volunteer. As sports director Jake Eichstead reports, Crumpler has a legacy of serving others.
Mr. Crumpler, we thank you for your service.
I got tears in my eyes when I came up and saw the concession stand signs with his name on it.
It finally gives him his just due to show him just how much we appreciate him. He gives, and it was time for him to receive.
An honor 30 years in the making for Robert Crumpler. Thursday night at Whiteville High School, the Wolfpack faithful serenaded the volunteer.
It started in 1993, and each successive year it seemed like the next president would say, well, if you'll stay on, I'll be president next year. So I kept saying, okay, and here we are at year 31.
He has helped make sure 100% of the profits from the concessions and other fundraisers go straight to the band, allowing for trips, uniforms, and new instruments for generations.
For the last 30 years, I've probably have not missed 10 games.
It's estimated Crumpler has impacted over 2,250 band students, served 75,000 hot dogs, made 5,000 gallons of fresh squeezed lemonade, and 3,500 gallons of hot chocolate. Of course, Mr. Crumpler doesn't do everything, but finding help has become easier over the years since he took over in '93. You could say the stand has been popping ever since.
Such an incredible story. We will hear more from some of the people whose lives Crumpler has touched tonight on your news at 10 and 11. In some other sports news happening tomorrow, you have a chance to hoop with the Hawks, and tonight we're hearing from some of the Seahawks who will be there. The City of Wilmington and UNCW are hosting a free basketball camp. It's for kids who are between 7 and 14 years old. Trazarian White and KJ Jenkins are leading the clinic. Both players say they are blessed to have this opportunity to pass on some of the important lessons they learned that help them become Division I level basketball players.
This opportunity is nothing but special, and many young men do not get this opportunity. It's everything to spreading the knowledge, the wisdom to the younger generation. They're going to learn some shooting and how to get better in that area. The kids will know what to bring. They'll bring their energy, and we'll bring ours.
This is kind of what I want to do later after basketball. I want to get into coaching, training, and just helping kids get the knowledge that I wasn't able to get when I was their age. Just to have the grind mode. You got to work, and nothing comes easy. You know, what happens in the dark comes to light. So, you know, keep working in the dark is going to eventually show up.
It's happening tomorrow from 3 until 6 in the evening at Maids Park, located on Manley Avenue. Information on how to sign up is on our website. And if you're excited for basketball season, the Seahawks just announced their tip-off luncheon date. The annual event will take place Monday, October 16th at the Buffalo Wild Wings on Old Eastwood Road. Tickets are $20 and must be purchased in advance. Fans have a chance to hear from men's head coach Takeo Siddle and new women's head coach Nicole Woods. We have a link to tickets on our website. We have an update to a story we told you about earlier this week after Ashley High School alum Alex Highsmith was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Tonight, we're hearing from Highsmith. The linebacker intercepted the first pass of the game for the Steelers and returned it for a touchdown. He finished the game with 7 overall tackles, including a strip sack that led to another Steelers defensive touchdown. It's the second time in his professional career he has been named the Conference Defensive Player of the Week. And we reported it was the first touchdown in organized football of his entire football career, courtesy of his father, Sam. But Alex seems to refute that.
No, I've had one at Pop Warner. I don't know where the rumor came from, but I have had a couple Pop Warner, but that was like my first. None in middle school, none in high school, none in college, but that was my first one in a while, yes.
Well, way to go. For what it's worth, Sam Highsmith says he does not remember said touchdown, but we aren't trying to start a family feud here. It's been a great week for Highsmith. On top of this honor, he is also now officially a Nike athlete. Art in the Yard is still going on this weekend, but the hours have been adjusted because of the storm. It's now happening tomorrow and Sunday from noon to 5 p.m. both days. Art in the Yard features dozens of local artists displaying and selling their work in yards, homes, and studios across 42 locations in Carolina and Curie Beaches. While the event officially kicks off at Good Hops Brewery, visitors can start at any artist location. You can find a link to the map on our website at WWAYTV3.com. With blood shortages across the country and in our community, WWAY partnered with John E. Jacobs Post 68 at the American Legion to host a blood drive for the American Red Cross today. Those with and without appointments were welcomed at today's drive here at the station in Leland. Dozens came out to roll up a sleeve and give the gift of life. 38 units of blood were collected at today's blood drive, and we want to say thank you to each and every one of you who came out today, even in the soggy weather, to donate. The United Auto Workers strike is expanding to include plants in several other states. How the disruptions could further impact the auto industry. Plus, if you've been looking to upgrade your phone, the iPhone 15 is now in stores.
And watch in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
Andy Bashir is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. Bashir sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy Bashir caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
No wheels! At a Stellantis plant in Tappan, New York, UAW members walked out and picked up signs.
We'll be out here for days, weeks, as long as it takes.
There's some of about 5,600 workers from 38 locations across 20 states called on to join the UAW strike.
Reinforcements are coming.
Union President Shawn Fain says negotiations with Ford are moving in the right direction, but that's not the case with General Motors and Chrysler parent Stellantis.
We will shut down parts distribution until those two companies come to their senses and come to the table with a serious offer.
The latest round of walkouts joined nearly 13,000 workers at 3 Midwest plants who kicked off the strike last week.
When you lose production at those plants, that's when things at General Assemblies go down. That's when, the whole system falls apart. So this is a huge escalation in terms of work stoppage.
Automakers have seized on what appear to be some leaked messages outlining the union strategy obtained by the Detroit News here in town that seem to indicate the union is planning for a long and costly strike. In statements, both Stellantis and General Motors pointed to the leaked texts and questioned whether UAW leadership was ever interested in reaching an agreement in a timely manner. Still, both say they will continue to negotiate with the UAW in good faith. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Wayne, Michigan.
In some other news, Apple's iPhone 15 lineup hit stores today. People waited in long lines across China, Europe, and the U.S. to be among the first to buy the new phone. The iPhone 15 Pro starts at $1,099, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max starts at just under $1,200. Apple's entry-level iPhones, the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus, cost $799 and $899 respectively. Experts say pre-orders for the iPhone 15 were much stronger than expected. It's welcome news for the tech company as Apple sales fell for the third consecutive quarter last month. Sofia Vergara is coming to Netflix, playing the role of a notorious drug dealer when the new series premieres.
And the rain has lasted over the past several hours and will continue late tonight into the first part of the day on your Saturday. A very soggy, windy, and somewhat cool evening and overnight is certainly on the way before a very nice weekend is in store. We'll talk about your full weekend forecast and the latest on Ophelia coming up after the break.
And watching Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Andy BESHEAR is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. BESHEAR sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy BESHEAR caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
Today across the Cape Fear, the rain really didn't start until around 11 o'clock to noon, around lunchtime, seeing the rain start off down towards the coast and work its way back from east to west over the past several hours. All the Cape Fear seeing at least some rain in nearly every single county of southeastern North Carolina, and still seeing rain right now. The heaviest is kind of back across Robinson County, the extreme western portions of Bladen County and Columbus County. A very heavy band right now just north and west of Leland and southern sections of Pender County. Rain bands continuing over the next several hours. So a soggy, windy, and kind of dreary rest of the evening is on the way, and that's all thanks to Tropical Storm Ophelia off the coast. It is very close to hurricane status right now. Winds as of the 5 o'clock advisory at 70 miles per hour, moving north-northwest at about 13 miles per hour. But the good news is with this system, it's going to stay towards the east of us, so we're going to get the kind of better side of this system. Any severe weather would be on the eastern side of that area low pressure as it makes its way off towards the north over the next 12 hours, making landfall somewhere around the Carteret County area of North Carolina by 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Still winds at 70 miles per hour, and then kind of dying off as it races its way off towards the north by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, already nearly making its way out of North Carolina into Virginia. So improving conditions are on the way as Saturday continues on. But seeing the winds already very close to hurricane status, a hurricane watch is in effect for all of Carteret County, portions of the coastal zones of Onslow County as well. So very gusty conditions all the way at the coast, and some counties in our portion of the Cape Fear seeing a tropical storm warning as we have seen all day long. Pender County and New Hanover County for very gusty and tropical storm-like winds down towards the coast. Already right now gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour down towards the coast, and that's going to be the case throughout the rest of the overnight hours. You can kind of see this tree blowing around down in Lockwood Folly Country Club from our West Shore Home Sky View Camera Network. The wind, the rain continues all night long, seeing kind of lower 60s back in the Bladen and Columbus counties at 60 and 61, in both of those. Lower 60s down towards the coast, but notice wind gusts still as high as 40 plus miles per hour as we start off the day on your Saturday. So here goes Ophelia up the coast as we head overnight into the first part of the day tomorrow, seeing the rain and the wind kind of make its way out of the Cape Fear by the early morning hours. Still seeing some bands work their way across the extreme northern sections of our area heading towards 7 or 8 o'clock. So kind of gusty at that time, but like I said, drastically improving as the day continues on, seeing kind of clearing skies, possibly even by the afternoon hours. A little warmer tomorrow as the rain chances go down, lower to middle 70s by the afternoon. And like I said, perhaps a very small chance of the sun peeking out as the rest of the day continues on. But if you don't see sun for the day on your Saturday, certainly seeing it as we head towards Sunday. Sunny conditions are on the way by 8 o'clock on Sunday. A very nice end to a kind of rainy start of the weekend, drying out as the weekend continues on. But as you can see in your latest WWAY Storm Track 3 7-day forecast, temperatures only warming up from here, going from upper 60s today, lower 70s, as we head towards the first full day of Fall Hannah on your Saturday. Check out Sunday, though, a big-time improvement, lower 80s, plenty of sunshine once again, so a better second half of the weekend than the first half.
Summer really going out with a bang today.
It certainly is. It's hard to believe today is the last day of summer, but really rainy and windy out there to kind of end it up.
But honestly, Sunday looking more like summer than fall. So
it looks a lot better towards
yet.
Sunday.
Yeah.
It does.
All right, thank you, Matthew. In some entertainment news, actress Sophie Turner has sued estranged husband Joe Jonas, demanding their children be returned to England. According to the court documents, the Game of Thrones star alleges the former couple's 2 daughters are being wrongfully retained in New York City. Turner claims the former couple had made England their permanent home earlier this spring. The petition states that Jonas had been taking care of the children while on tour while she was working on a new series. The petition states that she had planned to return to England with the children, but Jonas refused to hand over their passports when they met last week. In a statement, a representative for Jonas says the singer's impression was that they would work together towards an amicable co-parenting setup. Add Amazon Prime to the list of streaming services, inserting ads into its programming. Starting next year, Prime will include limited advertisements in movies and shows. Amazon's change brings it in line with its rivals like Netflix and Max, adding ad-supported tiers as companies search for additional revenue. Customers that want to skip the spots can buy an ad-free tier for an additional $2.99 per month next year. An NFL star takes on a major home renovation, and Sofia Vergara, as you have never seen her before. Bradley Blackburn has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Sofia Vergara takes on a daring new role, appearing as fans have never seen her before in Netflix's Griselda.
I heard that you like my product.
Vergara stars as the notorious Colombian godmother, Griselda Blanco, in the limited series, infamous for running cocaine through Miami in the 70s and 80s. Griselda premieres on Netflix January 25th.
That horse will make a hand out of someone.
As twin strikes impact Hollywood, the hit drama Yellowstone continues its run on broadcast TV.
I figured it'll take about $14 billion to buy it all. All what? The Valley.
The second and third episodes of the Western series, starring Kevin Costner, air on CBS this Sunday. Originally created for the Paramount Network, Yellowstone kicked off its broadcast debut last weekend, drawing almost 7 million viewers.
We are here.
We're here.
And Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams trades his football for a sledgehammer in an all-new episode of Secret Celebrity Renovation. The football star gifts his grandmother, Betty, who helped raise him, a modern upgrade to her East Palo Alto, California home, where he grew up.
Her guidance, her cooking, her love, her discipline, all those different things kind of led to me being the man that I am today.
Hosted by Nichelle Turner, Secret Celebrity Renovation airs tonight on CBS and streams on Paramount+. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
But before that, meteorologist Matthew Hulson is back with one last look at this storm and some better weather this weekend when we come back.
And Wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
Andy BESHEAR is flat out lying.
I've never supported gender reassignment surgery for kids.
That is false. BESHEAR sided with the radical left, allowing young children to undergo permanent gender-changing surgery.
Those procedures don't happen here in Kentucky.
Reports prove that gender-changing surgeries were done at this Lexington facility. Andy BESHEAR caught lying again. What else is he lying about?
Power Nation, America's most watched automotive how-to programming, is now available anytime, anywhere, on any device with Viewit.com and the Viewit app. Enjoy popular titles like Engine Power, Truck Tech, and Detroit Muscle in an always-on stream, or pick your favorite show to watch. Join automotive enthusiasts across the nation today at Viewit.com or the Viewit app for your favorite device.
Medicaid expansion for thousands of people in the state. Although he is letting it become law, Cooper said the budget shortchanges schools and prioritizes power grabs. Tropical storm Ophelia, officially named earlier this afternoon. It's brought heavy rain and strong wind throughout the day, giving people a reminder of Hurricane Idalia we saw just a few weeks ago. Officials are warning residents to stay dry and safe. And just 1 year ago, residents on the southwest coast of Florida were preparing for one of the strongest storms in the state's history to make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. A week later, Ian made a second landfall on the East Coast, bringing impacts to the Cape Fear.
And with Tropical Storm Ophelia off the coast, a very gusty and rainy evening and overnight is on the way, seeing lows in those lower 60s in most spots. But the good news is getting a lot better as we head towards Saturday afternoon and Sunday as well. Check out Sunday, Hannah. Plenty of sunshine after very rainy conditions for that first day of fall.
Just got to get through tonight, but great sleeping weather. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think so too. Looking forward to that for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. And thank you for joining us tonight. Your news and weather continues at 10 on the CW. Have a great night.